Yo, the Yankees suck. We're opening with that. Yeah. I also got Amish Country Met joining me in a few minutes. We're going to be talking some New York Mets. Going to be discussing their 3-game losing streak as well, because it's not just the Yankees that suck. The Mets do suck too. The Knicks, Game 5, looking to secure the series tonight against the Cavs, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jesus, what am I doing? But yeah, that would be great. Miami Heat up 3-1, so maybe they can get a victory over the Bucks too soon. And we would have a nice little path to the Eastern Conference Finals, potentially, if we can get past them. But yeah, New York sports going well, except for the Rangers. You know, they just lost the Devils the other night. Some people might say I jinxed them. So, sorry, Frankie and Bono. But the Rangers suck right now, I guess, too. Panarin still hasn't scored this whole entire series. Neither has Mika Zibanejad, so we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But you see it, right side, New York Yankees, 3-game losing streak. They suck right now. What's going on? Judge only batting 244. Volpe batting below 200. Everybody sucks right now. The pitching sucks right now. Nestor Cortez, he doesn't look like the same Nestor Cortez from last year. Garrett Cole, he's lights out. But other than that, this Yankees team just failed. The lineup, when you look at it, there's really no threat outside of Judge. I mean, Rizzo, yeah, he's popping off. He's having a great year, great start to the year. But is that sustainable? We haven't seen Rizzo put this up in a long, long time. Maybe it is sustainable, but even with him playing like this, the Yankees are just 7-8 in their last 15 games. So does it even give you confidence that Anthony Rizzo is having the year he's having right now? Because really, when you look at it, it seems like this Yankees lineup just runs through one guy. And obviously, we all know that one guy is Aaron Judge. But I can't blame the Yankees. I can't blame Yankee fans. I blame Brian Cashman. That's who you got to look at, because he bet on the kid. He bet on Oswaldo Cabrera, who's batting under 250 right now. He bet on Volpe. You know, he brought in, obviously, Frankie Cordero, who's not a rookie or anything like that, but he's a veteran. He's not really proven. He bet on a lot of unproven guys. He did the same thing last year with IKF. So really, when you look at it, it's Cashman. Maybe it's the ownership not letting him spend as much money, but I don't know. Outside of Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo, he's like half. He's not a full threat. He's like a half a threat. There's nobody that a pitcher is scared of, even when Stanton's in the lineup. And you also got to prepare for Stanton to get hurt, because he's been a guy who's injury prone his whole entire career. So the Yankees, they're just effing up. Listen, they can obviously build from it, but it is alarming that their lineup sucks. It looks like they were going to bank on pitching as well. They were really going to bank on pitching. I mean, going into the season, the Mets and the Yankees, both of their rotations were being talked about as top 5 rotations. And now they both suck. So that's another problem. So, I mean, when you look, I don't know what the strength of this Yankees team is. Look, what is the strength? It's Aaron Judge. It's not the rotation. It was supposed to be the rotation, but Rodon's hurt, and he hasn't pitched over 180 innings throughout his entire career, so that's a whole nother topic. And he was shut down from throwing just like 5 days ago. Nestor Cortez isn't the same anymore. That might have been just, I'm not saying it's a one-year wonder, but I don't think last year was an outlier. This year, maybe he goes back to normal, which is a quality start, yeah, but not a lights-out start. Garrett Cole, he's giving you a solid out, and obviously every single time, not just a solid, a lights-out starting. And then you have Luis Severino, who's still on the IL too. So the pitching is not the strength. Clark Schmidt, no, he sucked. Brito, I mean, he looked good. His first 2 starts, he flashed some stuff. Outside of that, he struggled too. So I really don't know what the strength of this Yankees team is right now. Obviously, when you look at the lineup, like I just said before, there's really no threat outside of Judge and Rizzo. Like I just said, he's a half a threat. He's not even a full threat. But I'm not going to spend too much time on the Yankees. I'm going to get my boy Bori in here soon so we can talk some Mets. But really, there's just not too much to say on the Yankees, because these were problems I think that Yankees fans already knew that could have been problems, and now they're just popping up. you know, we knew it was just Aaron Judge. We knew it was just outside of Aaron Judge. It's maybe a 220 Giancarlo Stanton, who's a hit or miss guy, and then you got who else? Rizzo. I mean, he's been popping off with the band shift, but it's just I don't think if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm not excited about this team because even Gleyber Torres, he had the hot start that he did to the year, but he's back to normal now. So there's nothing, like I said, there's no strength to this Yankees team right now. And, you look at the Mets, there might not be a strength, but there's not as many weaknesses on the Mets right now than there are the Yankees, but there are just as many. So let's talk about some of those weaknesses as the Mets are on a 3-game losing streak right now. I'm going to be joined by Amish Country Mets. You can follow him on Twitter. Check out his YouTube page. He's been growing fast as hell right now. Love his content, but let me pop him in right to the right side. What's up? What's up? What's up, Bori?
Yo, what's up? Hold on 1 second.
Got it. Yeah, I'm just crapping on the Yankees right now, doing my thing.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, just discussing some Yankees, talking about how they've been struggling. They're also on a 3-game losing streak, just like our Mets. But, yeah, man, thanks for coming on. Bori's always been a caller for like the past 2 weeks now, so it's been pretty cool chatting with you on the phone. Now I finally got you here, though, on the live screen. So what's up? What's up, man? How we doing besides the Mets losses the past 3 games?
I mean, not too bad. All are too well. The Knicks are up 3-1, so that's going well. But Rangers are shit in the bed. Mets not playing well. Not that I give a shit about the Yankees, but obviously they're not playing well, so things aren't going too great in New York sports land.
Yeah. I mean, the Rangers, I was surprised about that one, honestly. I did not see that one coming. I thought they would honestly wipe the floor with the Devils after how it started. But the Devils are proving that they're no easy out, and that regular season was not a funk. Not a funk. Yo, what's up, Chris? How we doing? What's the static pod? Shout out. You're going on What's the Static on Friday, right?
Yeah, we're doing a little something together, kind of previewing the Brave series and recapping the Nat series, which hopefully goes better than it went last night.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. That's what we're hoping for. So overall, though, what do you think about these New York Mets now that they're on a 3-game losing streak after a pretty good West Coast trip? But obviously, the last 2 games and now the start to this homestand haven't been too pretty for the Mets. So dissect these problems for me. What do you think is going on with the team? Lindor has been a guy who's struggling. Marte's been a guy who's struggling. Alonso I know he had that 10 home runs early on now, but even him, the last 3 games, he's been kind of quiet. So what's going on with this offense?
Man, I think it's just an all-around struggle. I think these guys feed off of each other, and when absolutely none of them are clicking, it's hard for anybody to get going. I mean, Nim was super hot, and he's still getting hit here, getting his hits here and there, but he's about the only one. Everybody else is kind of in a slump, and when you're all slumping at the same time, it's hard to build any momentum at all.
Yeah, I feel 100%. It does feel like this lineup does feed off each other because it's really like, at least with this lineup, and less with the Yankees, though, like you just said, we have a guy like Nimmo who could pick it up. Hopefully, when Nimmo is struggling, Alonso can get going. But Lindor, he's also struggling right now too. He's been struggling a little bit longer than Alonso. So now that I do mention Lindor, you mentioned to me yesterday he is a guy who does get off to slow starts here and there. And he did last year get off to not a slow start, but not a Francisco Lindor start by any means. And then the second half of the year, he really started cooking. So what do you think of Francisco Lindor? Should fans be worried, or should fans just take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize, okay, things are going to get going soon?
Yeah, this is Francisco's MO going back to Cleveland. Like, he's always been a slow starter. April and even May at times don't go very well, and then come June when the weather starts heating up, he starts heating up. Like that's just the way he is. It's I think people expected, and even I to an extent expected more, just because in the WBC he was like really cooking, but obviously that slowed down a bit. I'm not worried about him at all. I think he's gonna pick it up. I think overall as a team they're gonna pick it up. It's just it ebbs and flows, man. It's the way baseball works. I get everybody's very reactionary. It's the nature of being a fan, but sometimes you gotta take a step back and chill. Like we're not we're not in last place. We're not games under 500. We're in a little bit of a dry spell right now. They'll get better. It's just I mean our rotation is in shambles on top of the hitting. Not like it's just we need guys back. We need Verlander back. We need Scherzer back. We need Senga to start cooking. We need it's just I mean those three are going to carry us. We're going to need to find more rotation help later in the summer. I don't have much trust in Peterson or McGill. I don't know how long we can ride with Lucchesi. Budo's proven he hit or miss. He doesn't have very good control. So we're gonna need probably to pick somebody up. I mean, I guess you can bank on Quintana maybe coming back, but that's not till July at least. So
Yeah, like you said, this rotation, it's kind of what we were banking on going into the year. But one of the positives from the Mets, you mentioned it earlier, Brandon Nimmo, he's been raking. So what are you thinking of his start right now? He's hitting like you see right there, 349 to 456 on base percentage. He's always been a guy who's got on base, but this season it's been ridiculous. It's been more than ever. So what do you think of Nimmo's start and overall that 8-year deal that he got? You think he's proven it that it's worth it?
yeah, so far so good. I was never one that was shitting on the deal that bad. I mean, I is he maybe a little overpaid? If he plays like this, obviously not. But at the time, it did seem like maybe it was a little much, but they didn't really have any other backup options. Um, but right now, he's playing like an MP. So you could argue that's a steal of a deal. So uh, the last few games, somebody mentioned this in one of the spaces last night. Need him to walk more. This team functions on getting on base, playing as much as people hate it, playing small ball. They like the on base percentage. They like their little infield hits. They need to get stuff like that to get everybody going. And the last few days, they haven't done it at all. Obviously, we're not. Yes, Alonso hits bombs left and right, but he's about one of the only ones in the lineup that's true like power. So we need to do the other little things to succeed.
Yeah, I feel that 100%. Last year, we were one of the best offenses in baseball when we were cooking with that small ball mentality. And if I know it doesn't obviously, like you said, not all fans are big fans of it, but sometimes it is a little bit more fun seeing balls fly all over the field instead of all over the park necessarily. But not only Nimmo has been tearing it up. The past 4 games now, Brett Beatty has recorded a hit. So obviously, Alvarez hitting 167 right now. He's not panning out too well, but Brett Beatty, he's looking sharp, but Alvarez also hit a home run the other day, too. So, what do you think of the kids? And more importantly, do you think that both of them can stay up at the major league level, even when both guys who they replaced with injuries? I'm going to put in quotation marks for Beatty because he replaced LeCastro, but let's be real. I don't think that's the case. But what do you think of those two? You think they got a shot at staying up here long term?
Yeah, I honestly don't think Beatty's going anywhere. I mean, unless he gets hurt, hopefully not. I think he's our third baseman from now on, period. Um, Alvarez, we'll see. He's obviously he looks better, like we've all said. The more you give him chances to play, the better more comfortable he looks. If he keeps getting opportunities, I think the bat's going to come around. Uh, if he starts sitting again, then it's probably going to be a little slower go. But I could see him going back down if and when Narvaez gets healthy. I just know Buck loves Nito. I don't see them getting rid of Narvaez either. So unless they're going to carry three catchers, which probably not, I can definitely see Alvarez going back down. But I don't think Beatty's going anywhere.
Yeah, Beatty has definitely been. He's even when he gets out, he's getting hard outs. There was a stat that came up the other day. Um, all like I think it's like 15 of his outs, which isn't even that much. They're just scorching off the ball. I'm not sure what the exact mileage is on it, but Francisco Alvarez, though, when Omar Narvaez does come back, he has been hitting 286, and some people have been getting on Nito. So do you think that there's any shot at all that Nito, with the slow start that he's gotten off to, maybe Alvarez, if he can get it going a little bit, if Narvaez comes back, you think that there's any slight chance that he could potentially stay up on the roster?
If it were up to me, yes, but I just know. Listen, we talked about it. I'm not a Buck hater. I have issues with the way he handles kids at times. I know he plays favorites with the veterans. Like that's just a fact. So,
Yeah.
and he praises Nito every chance he gets. And Nito, last year he was a decent backup catcher. This year, if you can't play defense, bro, then you don't even deserve a roster spot. Like your bat obviously stinks. So what are you providing right now? If you can't provide the defense, then I don't need you on this team. But I don't think Buck sees it that way. So I just don't. Unless if Alvarez goes on a tear, obviously it's going to be hard for them to like go. All right, well, you're going back to AAA while you're breaking here. But if Alvarez continues to struggle, then we're probably going to see Nito and Narvaez, and Alvarez going to hit AAA again.
Yeah, Alvarez, though, even though the bat has been struggling to start, it seems like it's starting to pick up. He's striking out a lot less than he was when he first came up. Definitely swinging at better pitches. But
Yeah.
defensively, what do you think of Alvarez, though? He has looked pretty good. Do you think that defense, that was some things that the fans and the coaching staff were kind of worried about coming into the year? Do you think we should still have those same worries, or do you think he's proved that he's really worked on it this year?
No, he definitely proved he's worked on it. He looks a lot better. He looks a lot more comfortable back there. He looks like he's taking charge at times with the pitchers. Like I like what I see from his defense. His throwing out base runners. I mean, he's got a crazy good arm. He's just his release is not quite there. It's not quick enough. If he can work on that, then that'd be great. But other than that, man, he looks pretty good. He's obviously he's had some struggles, but he's a rookie. It's going to happen. But I like his defense. Hell, he's better than Nito behind the plate.
Yeah, he has definitely looked better than Nito behind the plate, and that's the one thing. You even mentioned too that Nito, he was a good backup catcher last year, and I think that's the biggest thing for him too. He's got to get back in that backup role. He's not a starting catcher, so we gotta
Exactly.
get Nito out of the role that he's in now. And it would definitely help if Alvarez could get going a little bit. But like you said, he's only 21 years old. He's so young. He's a catcher too. We see catchers, they do take a little bit longer to develop because they do got to not just learn hidden. They got to learn a lot on the defensive side. You're working with, like, let's think, how many pitchers do the Mets have, including relievers? Over like 12, right? So you got to get on board with all 12 of those guys. And so I'm not really too worried about Alvarez, but Beatty's definitely looking nice. But tonight, Kodai Senga's on the mound. He has been walking a lot of guys. He had 4 walks in his last start, but his
Yep.
first 2 starts, he looked very good. What does he need to do to get back to that?
I think it's just time with him, man. He's getting used to the new ball. He's getting used to just being the difference between MLB and the Japanese league. Learning all the hitters. He got a language barrier he's dealing with. Like it's a lot to take on as a rookie. Yeah, he's not your normal like 20-year-old rookie, but still, like it's a lot to learn. I think the more he goes, the more pitches, the better he's gonna be. Um, and the Nats are not a good hitting lineup. I'm probably gonna regret saying this, but there's no reason he shouldn't mow them down tonight. Like as long as he can, like keep his control in check, like he should be able to set these guys down.
Yeah, it would definitely suit him well, especially his first two starts. They were what against the Miami Marlins, so that definitely boded well for him too. Um, but Senga, I think he's a guy who's got a lot of potential. I know earlier you were talking about how we really need those three guys in the front of the rotation when Verlander does come back and Scherzer's back from his rotation. We really need those three guys to carry us. And hopefully when Quintana gets back, he can really help us too. But David Peterson, he's been struggling. Tyler McGill, I mean, he's been shaky, but he's been doing the job. Obviously not what he did last year to start the year, but still struggling a little bit, but good enough. Not worse. I mean, well, not worse than David Peterson. But what do you think of those two guys? Do you think maybe one of them gets bumped when Carrasco is healthy, even though Carrasco has been terrible?
Um, Bump for Carrasco. Who knows? I mean, he stinks too. I don't trust Peterson at all. I don't like him. I think he's another Steven Matz. I've said that multiple times. Like, it's not. I don't think he's that good. McGill shows a little more promise, but there's times where he's very hittable as well. Honestly, if I would hope we could get both of them out of the rotation. Obviously, that's not going to happen for a while. Um, I've always thought McGill profiled more as a relief pitcher. I know last year they tried it and he didn't look great, but I still see him more in that role. Hell, if he could take over like the long relief role, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it
Because we
would be.
don't
We
have
need
that
that guy
guy.
back.
We had Trevor Williams, and he did awesome in that role.
Hmm.
Now he's actually starting against us tomorrow. Um, so yeah, I feel like we need a guy to take that role of the long reliever, and I think McGill in particular, I think could do it. Peterson, I don't trust, man. If I could like package him with somebody to get another piece, I would.
Yeah, we could get rid of Peterson somehow, especially to get something else in. That would be great. But before I do let you go, my grandpa, Buck Showalter, what's going on? Why is he getting the hate? Obviously, the kids is one reason, but do you think game management wise, is there anything that Buck does that pisses you off particular? Because I know for me, there's a lot of things that he does do that does irk me. Like for instance, Canna when he bats him fifth. Like I get it, but it seems like he's just being too analytical in that sense sometimes. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
McNeil, I feel like would be better suited more in like an everyday spot, just so he can kind of get into a groove. Um, but yeah, other things I know some people get upset with like the bullpen decisions, but Buck, man, he's probably like Verlander has pressure on him. Actually, Verlander doesn't really have pressure on him. He's already won a lot of rings. Scherzer, he's already won a ring. But there's a lot of pressure on guys like Alonso, of course, guys like Lindor, guys like Nimmo, guys like even McNeil, who all just got paid, or Alonso, who's trying to get paid. But I really feel like there's a lot of pressure on Buck Showalter this season. So, what do you think Buck Showalter needs to do to kind of take that pressure off of himself? And do you think Buck's really the guy for this team to get over the hump and get the job done in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't really know that there's anything in particular he can do. I think a lot of it's based on the players and how they perform. Um, he's not a bad in-game manager. His lineup decisions at times are frustrating. Obviously, he can harp about the kids. That's my biggest gripe with him.
Yeah, I feel like he gives a
Bullpen
lot of
management.
veterans leashes.
Yeah,
My bad, I didn't mean to
bullpen
cut you
management.
off.
Every manager, every fan base bitches about managers and the way they handle the bullpen. We never agree. It just is what it is. Um, yes, he does make some questionable calls, but he does a decent job of keeping guys fresh, and I like that. Um, the lineup, yeah, there's things I wish he would change. Honestly, man, and it proved last year it proved to be true, and this year it's proving it again. Marte is a big issue, bro. Marte's not he's I don't think he's healthy. And they for some reason they won't IL him. They should, I think. he just doesn't look right at all on the field, man. There's something wrong with him, and this team, when he's doing what he can do, like this team is really good. When he's in the two hole, just playing miserable, like I mean, like yesterday he came up in that big spot and he flailed at that 3-2 pitch. Like, I mean, it was a nasty pitch, but man, he just does. At that point at that bat that I feel confident he was going to come through, and that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, Marte, he was a guy at one point. I even myself labeled him as one of our most consistent hitters. And that's why I
Yeah,
think last year a lot of fans started to fall in love with Starlin Marte because he was very consistent. But lately, he's been very inconsistent. He's only hitting 239, and it's not like he's hitting 239 and getting on base a lot. At least Lindor, we're seeing him, he's hitting 221 only, but he's coming up in big spots with runners in scoring position. He's getting on base, working the count. With Marte, like you said, he's flailing at bad pitches. Even when he does put the ball in play, he'll jog to first. So it does look like something's going on with him. So I agree there. But yeah, the one last thing I did want to ask you though, DH wise, do you think this Mets team is okay with what we got going? Tommy Pham here and there, Vogie obviously the main guy, but what do you think of the DH right now?
if the other guys are doing what they're supposed to, we could survive with the DH as it is. When the lineup as a whole looks like trash, we can't have Vogelback and Pham carrying that spot. They're just not. They don't provide enough thump from that DH role. I need somebody that's a power threat, and I mean Vogie should be, but he hasn't been. I mean, he has been hitting a little better lately, but still that power isn't really there. Pham has shown his moments, but again, like I almost rather him split more time with Canna than DH. Like we need. I don't know if it's. I don't know why they won't. I really wonder what the hell the problem is with Vientos that they won't give him a shot. Like that is mind-boggling to me. The dude's been in AAA now for it's gonna be going on 1.5 years, and he keeps mashing the ball, and they just won't give him a chance.
Yeah, it would be nice to see Vientos get a shot. Even the swing is long. It is very long, but when he makes contact, that ball goes very far. So it would be nice to see him get an actual shot rather than last year where he just had that little short stint where it feels like he didn't really, like I just said, he just didn't really get a shot. So it would be nice. I feel like Beatty is kind of blocking him a little bit, but that DH spot is open. So maybe if Pham and Vogie do
Yeah,
kind of start
I don't
to
expect him to play third. I don't expect him to play the field at all. To be honest, the fact that he's a butcher in the field is well known. It's just there's no reason he can't just be the DH. Like at
yeah.
least give him a shot. It's not like anybody's running with the ball right now.
Yeah, 100%. I feel. Um, but the Mets farm system, it has definitely been getting better, 100%. With Ronnie and all of them now. But what are your last thoughts though before I do let you go? What are your predictions overall for this rest of the Washington Nationals series, and what do you think the Mets need to do to turn this 3-game losing streak around?
They got to, like I said before, they got to start working at bats. They got to get their walks. They got to play small ball. They have to get on base. They haven't been doing that. Um, I think Senga can pitch well tonight. I see us taking the next two. Hopefully, I'm not wrong. My only trepidation is that there's a lefty on the mound tonight, and we always struggle against lefties, especially lefties we've never seen. So we'll see. Hopefully, maybe Senga can just outduel him. That would be ideal. As far as the team as a whole, like going forward, I think we're going to be okay. I think this team is going to need to just stay above water until the deadline and make some moves. I think as constructed, they're not going to go to the World Series like that. I think if they can get a few guys in here, I think that'll put them over the top. But as constructed right now, I still see them making the playoffs. I just think they're going to need a move or two to really put them over the top, make them a World Series contender.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that move could have been Correa, but then again, Correa, um, obviously with all the injuries and stuff that fell through. But you know, always got to believe, right? That's our slogan as Mets
Yep.
fans. We got to believe. But thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. It was much better getting you on the screen rather than just the phone. So I really appreciate you taking a little bit more time and popping on the show.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you having on. And anytime you want to do it again, just let me know.
Yes, sir. And you want to give yourself a little quick shout out, the Homage Country Mets fan page?
Yeah, man. If you're watching this, please subscribe to my YouTube. Last I checked, I was at 98 subscribers, almost at that 100. That was a goal for me. It's only my first month, so I think that's pretty good. So please follow, subscribe to Amish Country Mets fan on YouTube. Follow me at Country on Twitter. And yeah, man, I hope to collab with more people and do more things. And I got all kinds of ideas. So give me a follow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, boy. Thanks for hopping on, my man.
All right, thanks a lot, bro.
Peace out.
Later.
All right. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel, though, at Amish Country Met on Twitter, at Amish Country Mets fan on YouTube. He's got some good stuff, a lot of good, unique Mets content. And as you just heard him, he's one of the best Mets minds, one of the best Mets fans out there. He knows his stuff. He knows his shit. He's been a fan for a long time. So, I mean, and he's smart. Let's be real. Like, there's some Mets fans who, we feel, even myself, I mean, all Mets fans, we all act emotionally. But I'm telling you, you subscribe to Amish Country Mets, you're not just going to get the emotional Mets fan side, you're going to get the logical Mets fan side. So, and he knows his baseball, not just Mets baseball. He knows a lot of baseball. So make sure you give him a follow. He's got some good content out there. But yeah, let's segue from baseball into the Knicks, because the Knicks play tonight, trying to secure the postseason. Well, the first round postseason victory for the first time in since I think it was over a decade now? Is it over a decade? Since Melo. But yeah, I think the conversation's got to be starting up with Jalen Brunson potentially being a better New York Knick than Carmelo Anthony. I know a lot of Knicks fans don't want to talk about it, but Jalen Brunson, I think at the end of this year, we're going to start talking about it because he's really made that much of an impact in year one. Year one. Also, we signed him. We didn't have to give up anything for him. Oh, and all this hoopla about the Knicks would be better off with Donovan Mitchell is just stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. Because if we traded for Donovan Mitchell, one, we would have less picks, one pick that we used to acquire Josh Hart, who's been huge this series. I'm going to pop it up to the right side of my screen. You look right there. Josh Hart, 13.5 points per game, 6.8 rebounds per game, 1.5 steals per game, 60% from the field. So if we have Donovan Mitchell, okay, then we don't have this guy. Then we don't have Obi Toppin on the bench. We don't have RJ Barrett dropping 26 points last game. We don't have Quentin Grimes, who made those 2 clutch free throws and played a lot lockdown defense the first 2 games. We don't have picks that could acquire another superstar, or I don't know, maybe a better superstar than Donovan Mitchell. So we get Donovan Mitchell, the New York Knicks, instead of the 5 seed, they'd be the 4 seed. And without Donovan Mitchell, we're the 5 seed beating the 4 seed that traded for Donovan Mitchell. So I don't want to hear anymore that the Knicks would be better off without Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, I agreed too. We definitely would have struggled to build around him and Brunson. I feel like right now we got a full-on team. RJ Barrett, he's a guy too that I wanted to get into a little bit because RJ, with the year that he had, there's been a lot of rumors that him potentially get moved this offseason, potential rumors that, he might just be dealt overall. The Knicks might be done with him because of how he performed this year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But with the playoffs and in the postseason, he's been great, and that's really when it matters. It matters in the postseason. So, why not just keep this guy and see what we can build around this team that we have right now? And another guy that we would have lost in that trade is Mitchell Robinson, actually, too. I forgot to even mention him. And Mitchell Robinson has been huge this postseason. Him and Isaiah Hartenstein, probably one of the best center duos in recent memory. I mean, we were trying to get that little duo with Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel a couple of years ago, but it didn't work out because either Noel was hurt or either Mitchell was hurt, and we always had to have Taj Gibson either as the starter or either as the other guy on the bench. But now with Mitch, now that he's been healthy, Hartenstein's been on the floor, obviously, for every single game. Our center, it's production, straight production. We might not have a Joel Embiid or a Nikola Jokic or a Rudy Gobert, but we have two great centers, and two great centers combined for an elite center. So we have an elite center position. And then obviously Randall, you saw him. We didn't need him in the last 6 minutes because we have Obi Toppin. He might not score as much as Randall, but he can score when he needs to. He will make the big three. If he gets a lot of minutes, he makes more threes. That's one thing. And two, the space that he provides on the floor. I was talking about it yesterday with David from Top Bunk Sports. You could go check out that episode right now on my YouTube page from yesterday. David popped on Top Bunk Sports. Shout out you guys. Well, just David right now at Top Bunk Sports, but he's continuing to grow. It's a great thing going on over there. But he was even pointing out yesterday the spacing that Obi Toppin creates on the floor is much more efficient than Julius Randle when he's on the floor. So that's another thing. And obviously with Quentin Grimes hurt and Josh Hart being able to step in and just provide the same production that he provided when he was coming off the bench. I'm going to pop it up right here to the right side of my screen. We were touching on it a little bit yesterday, me and David, that, Josh Hart has really been huge for this Knicks team all freaking year, and especially in the postseason, stepping in when he gets, I put it up earlier on my Twitter today, when he gets over 30 plus minutes in the postseason. It's only been 2 games, but in those 2 games, he averages 18 points per game. He had 17 points in game 1. He had 19 points last game. So Josh Hart, and then the rebounding too, he's always crashing the glass on offensively and defense. And then obviously he's making the shots. So you see right there, 60% from the field. So he's not missing. He's taking smart shots. He's not taking stupid shots. He's being unselfish with the basketball. So you take Josh Hart off this team, that's a big blow to this team. I'm hoping that we re-sign him in the offseason and bring him back because he's really a big part of this team. And, you really stepping in for Quentin Grimes. That's huge because Grimes has been huge for us all year, not only on the offensive end, making threes for us, clutch threes, but defensively. But Josh Hart, obviously, providing just as much. And then quickly, a guy who needs to get it going. I'm going to be talking about Emmanuel Quickly and Julius Randle right now. The fact that the Knicks are winning without those two guys performing, that's a great sign, one. And the Miami Heat, hopefully they can secure a victory over the Bucks. Hopefully we can secure a victory over the Cavs. And then we have a nice little matchup over the Heat. So, we're favored over the Heat. I think we would have home court advantage too. So that'd be a huge plus too. But really, I think the 2 key guys that we need to get going if we want to actually make a deep run this postseason, it's Emmanuel Quickly and Julius Randle. Before I do get into my 3 keys, those guys are not part of my keys because they just need to get it going. Obviously, we saw it's not a key to victory. We don't need those 2 guys to go off to win because we have other guys. So those guys are my other keys. But those 2 guys, if they start to go off, then this Knicks team is going to have no problem beating the Cavs tonight. If Julius Randle can get back to scoring 25 a night like he averaged in the regular season, the Knicks will have no problem with the Cavs. The Knicks will have no problem if they make the next round, if they can secure a victory tonight or in 6 or 7. Emmanuel Quickly, he's a guy in the last 20 games of the season, he was scoring over 20 a night. What happened to that guy? What happened to our 6th man of the year candidate, Emmanuel Quickly? Where is that guy? We need that guy too. At times, he looks afraid. He literally looks afraid to shoot the ball. Like you saw Emmanuel Quickly drive into the paint, getting his buckets. Maybe that's another thing too, because you do see Quickly his 2-point percentage took a big rise this year. Maybe because Jalen Brunson was here, working on the floaters a lot more, working inside the arc a lot more. Quickly did that a lot more this year than last year. So maybe that has to do with it too, not getting inside the paint as much with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley being down low. That could be another possibility on why Quickly is struggling. I'm not sure, but Randle is just getting locked up by Mobley. So Randle's got to figure it out. The first game, Randle was doing something different, I think, than he is doing these last couple games. Feels like these last couple games, he's trying to take his jump shots a lot more. Whereas in game 1, he was really just playing bully. bully basketball. He was backing down Evan Mobley, making the unselfish pass, going up for the rebounds. But, he's still playing hard. That's a great thing. You saw in the last game, that chase down block against Donovan Mitchell, he kind of had a little deke there. That was huge. That really stopped the Cavs' run. So Julius Randle, even though he's not scoring, he's still making an impact positively for the Knicks. So that's a great thing to look at. But yeah, I'm just looking at in game 5, I really think we need to win this one. I don't want to see the Knicks don't go back to the Garden. Don't get to a game 6, because if you get to a game 6, then you put the pressure and all the hoopla of, are the Cavs going to force game 7? Are the Cavs going to force game 7? Don't even make that be a conversation. Win tonight. Cavs are not listen, the Cavs they're probably, I think statistically, they were the best defensive team in all of basketball this year. But when the Knicks play defense and they try and they put in an actual effort, when guys like Julius Randle especially are putting in an effort on defense, that's when the Knicks will show up, and that's when the Knicks will win. And that's why the Knicks have been winning, because Julius Randle hasn't showed up on the offensive end, but he's still putting that effort in defensively. We have a better physical team. We're more physical than them. So that's what we have been all series long, and we have to continue to do that tonight. I'm hoping that the Knicks don't be like, we're up 3-1. We got the series done already. No, finish the job tonight. Don't take tonight off, because even in game 2, game 2, the Knicks took off. It was like they got that game 1 win, and they were on such a high and such a game 1 hangover. I don't want them to be on the 3-1 hangover, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm just making that up right now, but the 3-1 hangover, don't let it happen. Don't let a game 6 be forced, because then that brings up the conversation. The Cavs can force game 7, and then game 7, I don't want. Screw a game 7. It sounds cool. It sounds fun if the Knicks would win a game 7, but we all know it would just not be fun to watch that whole entire time. So let's just get the job done. Let's get it done tonight, especially if if the Bucks make the Heat series a little bit longer too, we would have a little bit more rest, so that would be huge too. But I'm going to take a quick 5 minutes here, and then I'm going to get into the Giants and Jets draft rumors. But actually, before I do, let me do my 3 keys. So key number 1, physicality. Physicality, bring the physicality. Mitchell Robinson, get up on the rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein, Obi Toppin, 2. He's been very physical this series. So I want to see Obi continue to get his minutes so he can be physical on the boards. Josh Hart as well. He's been crashing the boards left and right. So we need those 4 guys especially get on the board. Same thing with Randall too. So those 5 guys really get on the boards. Key number 2, the bench. Obi Toppin and Isaiah Hartenstein. I was looking at Josh Hart a little bit. Obviously, he's in the starting lineup now. But those 2 guys have, every night they've shown up. Obi and Hartenstein have not been a negative impact. They've been a positive impact every time they've been on the floor. So continue to do that. Obviously, Emmanuel quickly, if he gets going, it'd be great. But Obi and Hartenstein, those 2 guys on the bench, that's my key number 2. So the bench, step it up, because we got a better bench. And our bench didn't show up in game 2, the one game we lost this series. And then key number 3, Jalen Brunson. That's simple. Jalen Brunson doesn't go off, we're screwed, because I don't think anybody is confident in Julius Randle going off for 25-plus points tonight. We need Jalen Brunson. He's been our guy all year. He's arguably an MVP candidate in the whole entire league this year. He's our MVP. So we need Jalen Brunson to show up again. That's our guy. He's been playoff proven, not only with the Knicks, but with the Mavs last year, and he's carried it on over with the Knicks in the first round. So Jalen Brunson is key number 3, and probably the most important key, because our team runs through Jalen Brunson. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break here. Going to be back in whatever this video takes. I got to get another video preview, but
and, even after Ohtani, what do you think? What do you think about Steve Cohen as a whole? Like, you think this guy? What do you think he did for this Mets franchise so far?
Yeah, I think starting with the first half of the question, Ohtani's certainly on the table. The biggest barrier in the Mets' way from them landing him isn't dollars, but it really is just preference. If Ohtani still has the same preference that he had entering the MLB, which is West Coast, then the likelihood of him landing with the Mets isn't as strong as, say, the Dodgers, who, while the Dodgers might not be able to put up highest dollar for Ohtani the way that the Mets would, it wouldn't be shocking if Ohtani, say, took a slight pay cut from the Dodgers versus what the Mets offer would be. They weren't drastically different to stay in LA, that area, to be with the Dodgers and be on a championship winning type organization still. So that is the biggest hurdle in landing him. But rest assured, we've all known by now that when Cohen has his eyes set on someone, he's going to do everything physically and humanly possible to acquire them. And, I don't expect a Carlos Correa, broken ankle type situation 2.0 here with Ohtani. So rest assured, if the interest is there, which we all know it is, the Mets will at minimum do their due diligence and give a valiant effort in landing him. And should they not, especially, then you look at the Manny Machado. I think either way, the Mets are in a strong position to land one of the top free agents next year. It's just a matter of if it's going to be the best player in baseball or is it going to be one of the best third basemen in the game. So, yeah, we'll discuss that more as we get closer to the trade deadline, depending on where the Angels are at and things of that nature. But, yeah, they will certainly be involved. And to answer the second part, yeah, Cohen, everything that I say, by now, right? He's just done an amazing job as Mets owner over the past couple of years. I had the privilege of meeting him a couple months ago, back in early January at a Mets event, and he was just, exactly what you would expect him to be. Just the fact that he goes so out of his way constantly to interact with fans, people, media, just really showing that the only difference between you and I and Cohen is the dollars on our net worth. Aside from that, the same interest level is there when it comes to being a diehard true Mets fan. That is what was the focal point in him buying the team in the first place. It wasn't because of this being a superior investment long term. No, it's because he wants to bring championships to Queens as a desperate fan, and I don't blame him. I would do the exact same thing if I had the money to back it and if I were in his shoes. So, everything he's done from top down, not only in the organization with the amount of funding for the roster, which is right around double more that he's spent on guaranteed contracts alone since he became an owner, which is around $1.4 billion than the next closest owner in baseball over the past couple of years, which is Steinbrenner of the Yankees, around $880 million. Aside from investing a record amount of dollars over that period of time with on-field product, it's off the field. It's with the coaching staff with Showalter, Epler, the 100.
Yo, I'm back. Let's talk about these New York Jets. Draft rumors. Let's get into them. But before we do get into some draft rumors, I want to talk about Aaron frickin' Rodgers officially being a New York Jet. And not just the fact that how Aaron Rodgers is going to just be a dog over here. It's about how the other guys around him are going to turn into dogs. Garrett Wilson, already a dog last year, put up 1,100 yards. I had one of my friends named Matt McGalley being an absolute fool and trying to tell me, blah, 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 Garrett Wilson isn't a number one. Dude, shut up. Shut up, McGalley. Because Garrett Wilson had 1,100 yards last year with 3 horrible quarterbacks. He had a washed-up Joe Flacco after he was in the washing machine without a dryer. He was literally, he's all mildew up right now. That's who was throwing him the ball for the first half of the first 3 games. Then he obviously had Zach Wilson straight out of your fraternity house, slugging beers, trying to bang MILFs. That's the guy who was throwing Garrett Wilson the football. And then you obviously had Mike White straight out of Madden, the franchise story, when you go late round draft pick, trying to be all cute. And now he's with Miami, but good for Mike White. I love Mike White. This is a Mike White show. But Garrett Wilson putting up 1,100 yards with those 3 guys throwing to him, that makes him a number 1 in my books, especially when you're that young. Now you're getting a 4-time MVP, a guy who won 2 out of the last 3 MVPs, so he's not washed up. He had a broken thumb last year and still put up 26 passing touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions. That's a very good touchdown to interception ratio. Obviously, he's going to throw a little bit more picks with a broken thumb. Try throwing a football with no thumb. It's hard. And he did that because you know what? He even said it himself. 65% of Aaron Rodgers is better than 100% of Jordan Love. And we didn't even have to give up that much to get him. We give up the conditional first-round pick, which will totally be worth it if we have to give that up. Because if we give that up, that means we win either a Super Bowl or he's played 65 games. So who cares if we give up that first-round pick? And the second-round picks, I don't really care about a second-round pick, to be honest. We still have the 15th pick, too. We went from 13 to 15. So we really didn't even lose a first-round pick.
when you think about it, we only lose a first-round pick if we need to when we win or he plays 65 games. So that's the only way we would give up picks. Yes, Drew. Jets are world champs. Shout out, Drew. Shout out the Mets way, too. We're going to be going live either one of these next few days. But yeah, I agree that the Jets will be world champs one day. And if we aren't world champs in the next 2 years, well, then we will be sad. Because giving up what we gave up doesn't mortgage our future or anything. Like, we still got Sauce Gardner. We still got Garrett Wilson. We still got Quinnen Williams. We still got, who else do we have that's a very young, strong piece? Not really anybody. Yeah, those are really the only three strong. Oh, Breece Hall, too. Why am I not thinking of Breece Hall? Jesus Christ. What am I, on drugs? Breece Hall, another strong piece going forward. So those 4 guys we can straight up build around. DJ Reed, he's still only 26 years old. CJ Mosley will probably retire by then. But, we have a strong Elijah Vera Tucker, another strong core piece. Mekhi Becton, if he can kind of figure out his health concerns. So, yeah, I love the direction that this team is headed in, even post Aaron Rodgers. But my only issue is we need to find another quarterback in 2 years once Aaron Rodgers is gone. But these next 2 years, we got to win. Gotta freaking win. Because, one, C.J. Mosley ain't getting any younger. C.J. Mosley is a very good linebacker. Carl Lawson, not getting any younger. Jordan Whitehead, not getting any younger. DJ Reed, 26 years old, entering the prime years of his career. Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson, for a second-year player going into their second years, they're matured as fuck. Like, there's no other better way to put it. They're matured. They looks like it sounds like they've been in the league whenever they speak to the media, whenever they do things. It looks like those 3 have been in the league for 10 plus years, but they haven't. They've been in the year for 1, and Sauce is already a top 3 cornerback in the league, arguably the best cornerback in the AFC. And Garrett Wilson probably will be a top 10 receiver come the end of the next year after Aaron Rodgers, a bad man. 2 out of the 3 last MVPs has thrown him the football. 1,100 yards with 3 dog water QBs. Now you put him with a top 5 QB. Jesus, this guy, he had more yards than Jamar Chase last year. Now imagine what Garrett Wilson is going to do. So I'm pumped, like I said, for what Aaron Rodgers provides for other players. He's going to open up the run game too. So even when Breece Hall obviously is probably going to start the season. He's coming off the torn ACL, so we can't really expect too much. But what I will say, though, is that having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, having not only Garrett Wilson in the receiving room, you also have McCole Hardman, a 2-time Super Bowl champ with the Chiefs. You have Alan Lazard, Aaron Rodgers' right-hand man with the Packers for the last 3 years. And then you also have Corey Davis, who's still on the roster, too. So you have 4 legitimate wide receivers who he can get the ball into their hands, and they could do magical things with it after they catch it. And then you also have C.J. Uzomah and Tyler Conklin, a very good tight end duo. So we really just need an O-line to build up. That's what I think we need to really do in the draft, is really try to build up that O-line. And we still got the 15th pick, so maybe we do something with that. But this whole entire team, it's loaded. It's rocked and ready to load. So not only is Breece Hall, because he can't start the year, big whoop. We still got Michael Carter, who's a very talented running back. And with the offense that we have, the weapons that Aaron Rodgers has to dish the ball out to downfield, the run game will be opened up, even for a guy like Michael Carter. Bam Knight, we even saw when Mike White was opening up the run game, when Mike White was having his Mike White's games. Like not Breece Hall. Bam Knight, he was going off. He was having 100-plus yard games, 80-plus yard games. So, obviously, then when the quarterback play took a dip, Bam Knight's play took a dip. So, it'll be opened up even without Breece Hall. That's why I think he just makes this whole entire team better. And then going into the draft, now that the draft is tomorrow night, we have the 15th overall pick. We could either, trade for another legit stud to help this team and put them in a win-now position even more, or we use that 15th pick to set us up for even more of a long-term run. So it's a win-win. We still got the 15th pick, 2 spots behind. What are positions that there's been rumors that Joey Porter Jr., the cornerback out of Ohio State, he's been rumored with the Giants and the Jets. Obviously, the Jets add him, it would mean because the Miami Dolphins, you got, Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills in our division, they both have great receiving cores. You got Jalen Waddle over in Miami with Tyreek Hill, and then you got Gabe Davis with Stephon Diggs out in Buffalo. So we're going to need somebody to guard them, and they both got very good tight ends, both teams as well. And then in the AFC, even outside of those teams, because now we've got to worry about other teams outside of the AFC East if we were really going to be in the playoffs now. The Chiefs, they got Travis Kelce, you got to guard. Juju Smith, you got to guard. And whoever Pat Mahomes is going to turn into a legit stud. And then you got the Bengals, obviously. They got Jamar Chase. They got T. Higgins. They got Tyler Boyd. They got weapons all over. So you do need lockdown corners. Now, you don't just need Sauce and DJ Reed. We could definitely use another one. So that's why I do see why the Joey Porter Jr. rumor does make sense for the Jets. And it would be freaking awesome to have 2 lockdown corners for the next 5-7 years. Young cornerbacks too. Like DJ Reed is young at 26, but like a rookie cornerback again like that would be fun. But I think you got to go O-line at 15. Like there's no doubt, especially like I said, Vera Tucker, the injury concerns, even though before injuries last year hit him, he wasn't really injury prone guy, but you still got to be worried. You still want depth on that O-line. And plus adding another first round caliber O-lineman to this team. If Mekhi Becton, Vera Tucker, and whoever is at that 15th pick, if it's an O-lineman, if they're healthy and they're making moves all year, then dude, we're rocked. Like we already got Laken Tomlinson. Hopefully he can be a little bit more consistent. And obviously with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers coming in the room, if you're a veteran guy or even a young guy, you don't want to be the guy that fucks up. So like Jordan Whitehead, for instance, he doesn't want to fuck up anymore. Like last year, if he fucks up, big whoop. Zach Wilson's probably just going to throw a pick next drive, right? Well, if Jordan Whitehead fucks up, Aaron Rodgers is going to be fucking pissed off because he just threw a bomb down the field to Garrett Wilson. So that's another thing that Aaron Rodgers is going to provide. But draft-wise, with the 15th pick, I think you go O-line 100%. I'm going to pull up my list right here. We had the mock drafts going, actually. But honestly, the mock drafts kind of suck. I hate the mock drafts. It's like, give me our needs and give me who we should draft. But Jets draft rumors, we saw what else did I see? That was not, I think it was, right here, another Ohio State guy. Yeah, this guy, DeJuan Jones, he's a stud. Reading about him a little bit earlier today. He's a stud. We were being talked about him when we had that 13th overall pick. And then when you look at it, it would put us in a position to kind of have a little bit of insurance for Mekhi Becton. Because Mekhi Becton, as I mentioned before, he's a guy who does get hurt a lot. And obviously we have Elijah Vera Tucker, who's a stud at the tackle position. But DeJuan Jones being a tackle, obviously, Mekhi Becton would either have to take a step back or, rotate in and out a lot more. But Becton obviously injured the past 2 years, injured really his whole entire career. So maybe it's a smart pick going with the offensive tackle. I would prefer a center or even a guard. But then again, I'm open to really anything because there's really not that many holes on the Jets right now. And that's a good thing. Usually it's like, the Jets are going to go quarterback. Or last year, the Jets are going to go cornerback or wide receiver, and they ended up doing both. Obviously, with the 3 first-round picks that they had, they got Jermaine Johnson with later on in the first round too. But now it's like Jets could do anything that they really want. What do they want to do? So another guy was Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa. That was another name that popped up with the Jets. He was a stud. But he's only ranked 43rd overall, in players-wise. So that's the one thing that I was a little questioning wise, why are we going to take a guy that low with the 13th pick? Do we really even need a linebacker? Are we banking on that guy to turn because with the 15th pick, it's not just making impact. It's you got to be a long-term player, so that's the one thing. That's why I think we should go O-lineman, either center or guard preference. That's my preference, but Oh, Aaron Rodgers takes part in first media conference since being traded from live now on the ESPN app. Oh, I think we should tune into that. Yeah, let's tune into that because I kind of want to freaking watch that. So yeah, I'm gonna go see what Aaron Rodgers has to say, and I think you guys should too, because that's honestly a little bit more interesting than me. I'll even admit that. So Giants draft rumors, I'll go over them real quick. Obviously, I've been talking about Trenton Simpson. I still think that Trenton Simpson is going to happen based off their linebacker needs, and Bobby O'Keefe being the stud that he is, he's going to need help. So Giants improve the defense or get a wide receiver. I mean, there's been reports that Jahmyr Gibbs might be falling down, so that's why I put a Saquon Barkley replacement. So because listen, let's be real, running backs fall. I mean, Breece Hall was taken very late. He was taken in the second round for the Jets. So running backs do tend to fall now in this draft. So maybe Jahmyr Gibbs falls. Maybe I'm not going to say Bijan Robinson falls, but if one of those two do, I saw the Jahmyr Gibbs rumor today. And that really interested me because Saquon, obviously, the position that they're in with Saquon, do they really want to give Saquon a deal longer than a year or two? Obviously not. He's a 26-year-old running back. We all know what happens when running backs age, unless you're not Adrian Peterson. So Giants, they might take a running back in the first round, especially if Gibbs or Robinson does fall, because I saw the Giants do love those two running back prospects, but it would only be those two apparently. I'm not saying I have a source. I'm saying this is what I saw on Google when you type in Giants rumors. But yet, I'm going to go watch Aaron Rodgers talk to the media. You guys should too. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit like right now. Hit like. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're watching this on Twitter, hit like. Hit that retweet button too. Smash that freaking retweet button. Let's try to grow this shit. I'm trying to get more people on the pod too. Gonna have Bori on a little bit later, probably next week too. Gonna get Top Bunk on next week too, probably talking not just Knicks. Maybe a little dive into some Mets too, maybe some football too, because he covers all sports too. So I'm gonna hit them up, see if I can get them back on next week, and then also we're gonna try to get on some more guests too throughout next week too. And throughout the rest of this week. So thanks for watching. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And thanks for always supporting me, man. You guys are the best. I love you guys. Shout out the guys that always watch. Shout out Eddie. Shout out Amish Country Matt for popping on today, by the way. Big flex on, the big flex emoji. That's what I always do. Shout out the guys. Shout out Keith. Shout out Shane Sons. Shout out Hector Blunt Thoughts. Shout out Chris from What's the Static. Shout out you guys for always showing me support. I really appreciate you guys. All love to you guys. Really just trying to grow together, and that's what I love. Collabing is what's the best for us. But yeah, let's get out of here. Let's go watch Aaron Rodgers talk to the ESPN. Deuces.